Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,000 point battle. Tomb Kings versus Bretonnians. Yep, my buddy Rathgar brought up his crunchy humans and pitted them up against my Tomb Kings. This is a brutal battle, kind of cinematic in a few ways, and it's very, very fun. So sit back, relax, and get ready to see the carnage. Here's my list, and it's more of the same. I didn't make any changes. I'm toying with some changes for my next fight, but for this one, I just stuck with what I had because I was enjoying it. Still 852 points in characters. My High Priest, Ida Metagasi, is my General on a Bone Dragon. Level 3 Wizard with Illusion, Lore Familiar, Talisman of Protection, and Flail of Skulls. This is the perfect kit for what I need Ida Metagasi to do. My second High Priest, Bernice, is on a Skeletal Steed, level 4 Wizard with Necromancy, Warding Splint, Earthing Rod, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. Last but not least is Baby Mage. He's my BSB with a Banner of Desert Wind because it's the best banner in the damn game, for Tomb Kings anyway. Level 2 Wizard with Necromancy and the Amulet of the Serpent. My core consists of 2 Tomb Swarms, which I use as Batriz, 39 Skeleton Archers with full command and warbows, 7 Skeleton Horse Archers with light armor, and 6 Ushapti, 1 Ancient, and Great Bows. And then in special, I have my 3 Tomb Scorpions with Ambusher and Terrors Below, as well as 5 more Ushapti with Great Bows. It's a solid list. Come get some. Here's my opponent's list, and I'm playing against my buddy Rathgar once again. This time he's gone over to Bretonnians, and I don't blame him. Smooth ears are better than knife ears any day. He's got 909 points in character, starting off with his Duke, who's his General, on a Royal Peg with Heavy Armor, Shield, the Ogre Blade, Serene's Locket, and the Virtue of Knightly Temper. So pretty dangerous character for me to be running into, but it's common with Bretonnians, so I'm terrified, as I should be. Then he's got his Baron on a Bretonnian Warhorse with a Heavy Armor, Shield, Lance, Gilded Cuirass, and the Knight's Vow, as well as the Virtue of Heroism. So yes, another character I have to really be careful of. Then he's got his Prophetess, who's on a Bretonnian Warhorse, level 4 Wizard with Battle Magic, and the Prayer Icon of Quenelles? Quenelles? I don't know how you say it, it's Bretonnian. And then last but not least is his Baby Damsel on a Warhorse, level 2 Wizard with Battle Magic. He's got 515 points in core, consisting of 10 Mounted Knights of the Realm. Holy crap. Full command, heavy armor, shields, and lances. I don't know if he's got a magic banner or not. I don't have his list. And then he's got 5 units of 10 peasant bowmen with longbows. 50 peasant bowmen on the table. Holy crap. Yeah, nothing easy to deal with in this list at all. In special, he's got 5 Pegasus Knights with full command, and then in rare, he's got 5 Grail Knights with Musician and a banner. And again, I don't know if either of them have any magical banners. I'm sure they do. I think the Pegasus Knights have the Banner of Shalon, which means I can't stand and shoot at them, and I think the Grail Knights have the Rampaging banner. I don't know, though. I don't have his list. Here are my spells for this one. Once again, Ida Metagasi got his Common 3, Glittering Robe, Spectral Doppelganger, and Mirage. Bernice got Incantation of Desert Wind, Unquiet Spirits, Spiritual Vortex, and Curse of Years. And Baby Mage got Spirit Leech and Incantation of Curse Blade. So, solid lineup of spells. My opponent got the Lady's Gift and Fireball on his Damsel, and then the Lady's Gift, Arcane Urgency, Pillar of Flame, and Fireball for his Prophetess. And here's deployment. Bretonnians are dangerous, especially when you're looking at a huge mass of, I don't know, what are they, Mounted Knights of the Realm on the right flank there. So I kind of did a denied flank, but so did he, so it just kind of cut our board in half. My Skeleton Archers, as you can see, I have the Banner of Desert Wind and finally realized that it had Vanguard on it, so I used it, and they moved up. They were on the hill, moved up 4 inches, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. The batteries are behind the hill. They're literally just going to be there to give their wounds to whatever caster requests them. I've got both units of Ushapti just sitting there, one behind the woods, one out in the open, because I friggin' dare you. Ida Metagasi's behind them, and then on the right side there is Bernice and her screen, gonna just take pot shots at targets of opportunity and then fall back with a desert wind, hopefully. For my opponent's side, our left, his right is the sole unit, or I guess lone unit of peasant bowmen over there behind the woods. On the hill, there are a couple of units of 10 peasant bowmen, and then right next to them on the ground are two more units of 10 peasant bowmen. He brought a lot of expendable peasants this game. Behind that unit is the Grail Knights with, I believe, his prophetess installed, with the peg knights sitting right there. I believe his duke is with them but using him as a screen. They is not attached to the unit. And then the huge 10-man brick of knights of the realm, mounted knights of the realm, has his damsel and his baron installed. So very, very solid list. I'm not exactly sure how well this is going to go for me. We go to top of turn one, and I get to go first because the entire Bretonnian army takes a knee to pray to some trollop in a river somewhere. I don't know, but honestly, I think he just let me go first because he's tired of hearing me whine about always going second. So I did. It threw me off a little bit. It still does. I'm not used to going first, but we move forward a little bit. My archers stay still because they're in range, and I want to fire as many shots as I can into the peasant bowman. I want to be careful not to shoot the ones that are currently blocking line of sight for his Grail Knights and his Peg Knights. I understand the Peg Knights can fly over, but the Grail Knights are kind of bottlenecked. I get that he's screening, but making him move so I can get a shot off at him first seems like a better idea to me. Bernice and her screen move up just a little bit. She can't get close enough for Unquiet Spirits, but hey, they can shoot at him and maybe fireball something, maybe take a knight out if I'm lucky. We'll see. And honestly, that's it for movement. Kicking off the shooting phase is my massive brick of archers who fire at the left unit of peasant bowmen. And unfortunately, I only kill three. Yeah, it was like 24 shots, and three of those guys went down. Bummer. But you know what? I'll take it. Three is three. The Boshati target the same unit and take them down another three for a total of four. I mean, the Boshati are definitely more efficient. And then my second unit of Boshati in the woods fire at the Knights of the Realm and are able to drop one of them. Not ideal, but I'll take what I can get. Yeah, her Bernice tries to fire off her Ruby Ring Ruin and it gets stopped or it doesn't go off, one of the two. And then the archers, I know I'm not going to kill a Knight of the Realm with Strength 3, no AP shooting, so I fire at the bowmen because they're in range and I kill one. I didn't think I was going to get very many considering where I was shooting, but I wanted to kill something, and killing a bowman made my heart sing. So I'm glad I did it. At the end of the shooting phase, I do my reserve moves. I'm able to back the what's it called, the Ushapti up a little bit. Definitely back up the archers, Bernice, and then the skeleton archers move forward another 4 inches. I really like reserve move. No combat yet, so here is bottom of turn one, and yeah, all it's like you kicked a hornet nest. All the archers march forward. The Grail Knights are right behind them. The Knights of the Realm stop. Bernice was able to get Spiritual Vortex off and kind of block them with it a little bit. The idea was if you want to go through it, you're going to take dangerous terrains, and dangerous terrains are dangerous. And with what is it, like 12 models in that unit, 10, 12 models in that unit? Ooh, that'd be a lot of rolls, and you're going to roll a few ones. The Peg Knights, along with the Duke, came flying out of dodge there, and that's incredibly dangerous. But it does give me a chance to shoot at the Peg Knights, and I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, that's really it for movement. During his movement phase, he tried to get the lady's gift off with his prophetess, I believe, and ended up miscasting 5, which was really good for me. Places the little pie plate on his prophetess, hitting his baron, and I think 3 guys is the way it was. Three partials and a partial on his baron, which, believe it or not, only led to the death of one Knight of the Realm. Everything else was fine. It was kind of wild. I expected more and only got one, so little disappointed, little upset. But hey, at least he killed one of his own guys. That was pretty cool. All right, nothing else happens during his turn, so here we go to top of 2, and a little bit happens. I do pull a Scorpion up just to give him a little bit of thought. I'd love if he just charged a Scorpion. That would give me more shooting at him. But I am able to get Curse of Years off on his Pegasus Knights, which is great. My unit of Boshati back up a little bit further. I want to be able to back them up out of the woods. I did get Incantation of Desert Wind off, and I believe was the big one, so they should be able to shoot and then back up out of that unit or out of the woods, so the Peg Knights can't charge them next turn. But I'm really hoping with a little luck, there's a lot fewer of them there. I'm not going to be able to shoot at them with my second unit of Boshati because the only thing I can see is the Duke, and since he's within 3 inches of that unit, I can't shoot at him, which sucks. But yeah, what's this called? Gacy kind of turns to face him a little bit. I'm worried about him charging over to the right side there, and at the same time, I'm hoping that maybe he'll bring his Grail Knights around so that Gacy can charge them. We'll see what happens. And yeah, that's really it for movement. The other Scorpions don't show up on ambush, so yeah, that's what it looks like. Alrighty, in the shooting phase, the Broshati started us off pretty strong by taking one down. I was kind of hoping for more, but I didn't roll great, but I did get one through. So I did staple one of those guys to the ground, and I feel pretty good about that. Bernice takes down another one. I'm not sure if it's a combination of Unquiet Spirits and Fireball, or if it's just Fireball or just Unquiet Spirits, but with her magic, she's able to drop another Peg Knight. Again, not as many as I'd have liked. I really was hoping to bait most of the unit, maybe have one or two left, but taking them down to 3 is pretty good. And I lied to you. One of the Scorpions did show up, as seen here. The Boshati fire at that unit of 4. I was hoping to vape the unit, but I was only able to kill 2 more, which kind of blows my mind, but is what it is. And then my skeleton archers fire at the brick on the left there that was kind of off by themselves and kill 7 of them. That's what I was looking for. I was looking to kill a whole bunch every volley. This is pretty good. I believe they passed their panic check, though, which is really irritating. Bravest friggin' peasants on the planet. Anyway, at the end of the shooting phase, I do my reserve moves, and yeah, the Boshati back up out of the woods a little bit. I did eat one of them in order to get Unquiet Spirits off, so that's probably what happened with the Peg Knights. I just don't remember. It was late, and it's been a couple of days. But anyway, Bernice and her screen run behind the woods, so they can't be charged. The archers over there on the left side move forward, and yeah, it's a pretty decent setup in my opinion. All right, and then that takes us to bottom of 2, where things kind of take a huge left turn. His Duke can see Gacy and charges and makes it. The remaining Peg Knights, one could see the unit of Boshati. I didn't see that, and of course they were in my flank, so he charged through and slammed into my flank. Is what it is, can only do so much about that. I made a mistake and my opponent capitalized on it. His archers move out of the way so that the Grail Knights can move forward and threaten the Boshati, and the rest of his archers kind of positioned a little bit, move around a little bit, not much, and his Knights of the Realm stay behind the Vortex because his caster failed to dispel it, which I'm feeling pretty good about. And that's it for his movement. In the magic phase, his caster is able to get Fireball, I believe, off on my Tomb Scorpion and almost kills him. It's 2 wounds on him. I was able to save 1. That almost really sucked. And then these piddly little bastards fire at my Scorpion on the hill and get a wound on him. 3 shots, and they were able to slip a wound through. Ought to be a law. So we go into combat, and my opponent decides to do the general combat first. And this one was kind of harrowing. Like, he got the full 8 attacks, because, D3 on the charge plus hatred. And, of course, he hit with all but, I think, 1 of them. And in the end, he ended up doing 5 wounds to me. I regen some, so he got a total of 5 combat res, 6, I think, because of the regen. And yeah, I was able to put 3 wounds through on him. If it wasn't for that stupid locket, he'd be dead right now. But beggars can't be choosers. He took 3, I took 5. I have close order, so he had 6 total wounds or 6 total combat res. I had 4. He wins by 2. I was hoping that the banner would give me combat, Indomitable 2 or 3, but it didn't. It was only 1. So I take another wound and I back up 2 inches. Well, I back up until I bump into the swarms and then I stop. And of course, the Duke continues forward. So this is a rough combat. We each have 2 wounds left. We go into combat over here, and the Peg Knights flub pretty spectacularly. Curse of Years has a lot to do with that, and I'll take it. But he ends up doing like a single wound. He's got a banner, and he's got a flank. I'm not able to do any wounds back, but I do have close orders, so he wins by 2. Again, I'm hoping that the BSB gives me some better Indomitable. It does not. I take the wound and then I give ground 2 inches and he goes forward. Yes, he did reform because he couldn't fit in otherwise, and I refuse to play by the rule that states that if they can't line up, they die. I think that's the stupidest rule in the world. So all we did is the most sensible, logical thing, and the one Peg Knight that couldn't line up anymore just went to the back. It wasn't difficult. Stupid, stupid rule. Oh man, so that takes us over here to top of three. I'm biting nails I don't have anymore, but not a whole lot of movement. Bernice can't really do anything over on the left side now due to all the combat. She can't get around to fire any shots off at the Grail Knights because they're just blocked too well, which is a shame. The Boshati did try to charge into the flank of the Pegasus Knights, trying to save their brethren, and that didn't work. That didn't work at all. I failed that by a lot, which is unfortunate. So yeah, they're not going to be able to do anything this round. Bernice just kind of shifts around so that if anything dies and wants to charge next turn, it can't. I'm hoping she does get incantation of Desert Winds off, so that's great. But yeah, it didn't get what's it called, Glittering Robes off again. Baby Mage couldn't get Cursed Blades off anymore. Oh man, it's going to be just a raw fight at this point. So yeah, that's really it for my movement. And shooting my archers fire at that brick that you see two are missing in. Yeah, that's all they could really see. That's all that, I mean, I didn't think, okay, I better shoot at the two because obviously the scorpion went into the other ones. I forgot to mention that, sorry. But yeah, the archers fired into them and ended up just taking two out, which come on, dice. It's turn 3. You should be warm by now. Literally nothing else happens. His prophetess or his damsel, one of the two, just stop everything. So Bernice gives up on being in charge range over there. She just kind of shifts back over, and yeah, my archer unit just kind of shifts another 4 inches or so due to incantation. Oh man, I needed this turn to go a lot better than it did. Okay, so we go into combat, and this is surreal. This is actually really awesome, but it's surreal too. So we each put, like, I think he put 2 more wounds on me or something like that. Like I was able to heal him a little bit, and but he got me up to 7 wounds. I think I got him to 4, and then we stomped Simo at each other. His Royal Pegasus was able to stomp Idametigasi into the ground. And then the narrative is, as Idametigasi was falling apart, the Bone Dragon and stuff like that fell on the Duke and speared him, killing him and crushing the Royal Pegasus into the ground, which is absolutely hilarious. So our generals kill each other, going Simo in close combat. I'm sorry, that's awesome as hell. What's not awesome as hell is that with Edametigasi dead, I immediately take crumble checks. I lose 1 skeleton archer. Baby Mage says, if it is not here, I'm not here, and removes his head from the rest of his body and crumbles into dust. I lose Ushapti. I lose a couple of wounds on my scorpion on the top there. I lose 4 skeleton archers, and Bernice is fine. The other unit of Ushapti are all right, and the Scorpion is all right. But I think I'm okay with my Scarabs as well. So not ideal. It was definitely a worse trade for me, but it was still a really awesome cinematic way for that fight to end. And I killed the Duke, so I'm okay with that. So getting back into combat, his Pegasus Knights attack my Ushapti, and again, he does 1 wound, has a banner, has a flank. I do nothing back, I have close order, he wins by 2. Indomitable 1 kicks in, I lose another wound, I give 2 inches, he pursues, and I respect the consistency. In combat over here, my Scorpion sates himself on the flesh of 4 Peasant Bowmen, which is awesome. They end up falling back in good order, not breaking, so the Scorpion pursues and slams back into him and they rally. So he's not done with his free meal just yet. All right, with combat over, here's bottom of turn 3 after movement. And yeah, his Grail Knights are able to charge into my Boshati in the woods. He risks it with his Knights of the Realm and come forward, and he loses, I believe, 1 due to dangerous terrain, which I'll take. Then the rest of the peasant bowmen just kind of move around a little bit, not a whole lot, just kind of get into positions to fire, and that's it for movement. Nothing else happens in a shooting or magic or anything like that. Most of it's either in combat, dead, or what have you. But we go into combat, and yeah, wash, rinse, repeat. He does a wound, flank, banner. I have close order, not able to do anything back. We give ground 2 inches, and he follows up. I mean, it's all it's going his way. I would love to be able to smack one of these damn peg knights out of my way, but it is what it is. Yeah, over here does not go nearly as well. He's able to drop one of my guys. He basically does 5 wounds, has a banner and lance formation, close order, whatever. I think I was able to kill one of these guys in the counter attack, which was actually really good considering I think they have like a 2-up save, 3-up save, whatever they have. Boshati took down a Grail Knight. They lost Boshati and almost 2 due to combat res. So yeah, it's 7-2. He wins by 5. They're indomitable 1. They lose 4, which means one healthy guy is still there, up and running. He falls back. Well, I'm sorry. He gives ground until he bumps into the skeleton archer, and the Grail Knights pursue, ending up right there. In combat over here, my scorpion just has a field day and kills all but 2 of these guys. But they actually make their break check and fall back in good order. I don't outnumber them by double yet. I'm only using strength 3, so they fall back in good order. The scorpion pursues, and we end up right there. Alrighty, and with that, we go over to the top of 4. I do my crumble checks. I think I lose 1 more skeleton archer, and everything else I think is okay. Believe it or not. Yeah, the swarms, both units of Boshati. In fact, Bernice is able to resurrect a couple of them with Arise. Yeah, everybody else is okay. The archers and Bernice move over to try to put some damage on the mounted knights of the realm, just to try to get rid of them if I could. I know I'm cornering myself. I know I'm kind of screwed, but it is what it is. And the scorpion moves up to kind of give them a target opportunity. I'm kind of hoping that they go through the dangerous terrain and he rolls more than just 1-1 this time. But hey, is what it is. I can beg. There's nothing wrong with begging. Yeah, that's really it for movement. Things are getting kind of hairy for me. So we go into shooting, and my archers fire. They didn't move, so it's a bunch of shots at this 2-man unit of peasant archers that are left. I do 1 wound. 1 wound. And of course, he passes his leadership check. The dice, they're waxing and waning. It's almost like they're random. It's pissing me off. Yeah, nothing else happens in shooting. I'm not able to get my spells off. At least I don't miscast, I guess. But yeah, I send the horse archers over here for the overrun so that the Grail Knights can't, if they do overrun, they can't like reform and face Bernice and charge her next turn. They can either slam into the skeleton horse archers or stay still and try to charge her that way. Either way, it's the best I can do. She moves more into the corner. The skeleton horse archers give themselves up in sacrifice. And I believe my skeleton archers can't move anymore because the BSB is dead. Awesome. That brings us over to combat, and my scorpion's able to finish off his meal that was Peasant Bowman, and he enjoyed it so much that he chooses to do it again, overrunning into a fresh unit of Peasant Bowman, hopefully eating them in a turn or 2, because I need every point I can get. In this combat, his Pegasus Knights are able to do 2 wounds to me. I get nothing in return. I still have close order. Actually, he does no wounds. He's got banner and flank. I don't do anything back. I've got close order. We're indomitable 1. I give ground a couple of inches, and he pursues. Now, I want to bring this up because it's kind of hilarious, and I just remembered. My opponent has been trying to not follow up with his Pegasus Knights for multiple turns now. He wants to charge. Like when it's going to be his turn next, he's trying to restrain so that he can charge and get his lances again. Because right now, he's just kind of limp wristing at the Ushapti, who are getting their armor saves. And he's failing their leaderships spectacularly. So, not everything is going his way, even though it may look like it. In combat against the Grail Knights, I get really, really lucky. He doesn't get any wounds on me. I didn't regen any either. I think maybe an armor save or 2, but he rolled really, really bad. In return, I was able to kill a Grail Knight. So he's got banner and lance formation. I have kill and close order. He doesn't have a musician. So we're just tied combat, which is insane. If they all go like this, that unit will be dead before I know it, which would be great. All right, with everything over, here's bottom of 4 after movement, and not a ton other than his massive, huge brick of mounted knights slam into my scorpion, which is fine. If they go after him, I'm fine with that. Bernice can get the hell out of there and maybe even shoot at him. But yeah, that's really about it. Everything else is deader in combat. There is quite literally nothing going on other than combat, so to combat we go. And he chooses to obliterate that poor scorpion with this train of friggin' mounted knights, which is sad. He ends up restraining them and just kind of turning to try to peg down Bernice so he can kill her off, which is smart. More of the same. Pegasus Knights do a wound, have a flank and a banner. I actually get a wound through back at him, and I still have close order. He wins by 1. I'm indomitable. I give 2 inches. He pursues, again, trying to resist. Yeah, he's failing that many leadership checks for these guys. It's kind of becoming a reoccurring theme, and that's where we end up. Combat over here is an absolute flub fest. He fails to hit and wound with everybody. The Boshati, they do a couple of wounds, but he makes his armor save no problem. He's got banner and lance formation. I've got close order. He wins by 1. I'm indomitable 1. As you can see, we stopped as soon as we touched the skeleton archers, and they pursued. Yeah, that combat's going a lot different than I expected it to. The Scorpion kills 6 peasant bowmen. There was only 8, leaving 2 alive. They attack back, don't do anything. I win by 6, and they make their break check. They literally just give ground. It's kind of disgusting. Well, maybe not. Maybe they fell back in good order, but either way, it was like 2 inches. So yeah, we pursued, and we ended up right there. That brings us over to top of 5. I'm desperate. I do my crumble checks. As you can see, I lose a lot of archers, 5 or 6. I don't lose any Boshati, which is really good. I'm not able to bring any back, which is really bad because Bernice failed her leadership check. The Scorpions are okay. Bernice is okay. I do lose a couple more skeleton archers, so I just take the 1 remaining and I put them in front of the knights and be like, hey, enjoy that long goodbye. I am able to get Curse of Years off on the Knights of the Realm, which is really, really good, as well as Incantation of Desert Wind. So at least Bernice isn't going to get hit by the Knights this time, but it is what it is. Other than that, nothing else really for movement. I think the last Scorpion shows up on the table on the right flank there, and that's it for movement. In shooting, I believe the unit moved this turn, so only the front rank shot at the archers right there and killed 2 of them, and they passed their panic check. Knowing that his time on this realm is limited, he fires his 1 shot. The skeleton horse archer fires that single shot that he's got into the peasant bowman and drops another one. Why not, right? And again, I'm not able to get my spells off. I tried to get Unquiet Spirits and she dispelled it. I tried to get Ruby Ring of Ruin to work and I rolled a 3. It was not good. So I just moved her up so she couldn't be charged. And I gave up my Skeleton Horse Archers so that the Knights of the Realm couldn't charge into the, what's it called? The Ushapti that are fighting the Grail Knights. Yeah. Not a great Magic game for me, this particular one. We go into combat, and I forgot to mention it. The Scarabs actually went into the side, I should say, of the Peg Knights, because why not? I had nothing else to lose. In combat, though, we do pretty well. He's able to do a wound to the Scarabs, and I think a wound or 2, possibly to the Boshati. Bottom line is he ends up with 4 combat res to my 3. The Boshati are going to be fine, but the Scarabs are going to end up taking a wound. Once again, my opponent attempts to restrain them and fails the leadership check. So he opts to go back into the Ushapti, and the Scarabs fall back a couple. Kind of wild. Kind of weird the way that worked. Then the Scorpion murders the last 2 peasant bowmen that he was currently munching on, and overruns far enough to slam into the Grail Knights, which is tremendous. I have hope. That hope, unfortunately, was unfounded. My Scorpion threw everything into the Prophetess and failed, which is really shameful. I just rolled like ass. But he is able to do a wound or two here. Bottom line is 3-3 in the end, and I didn't do well. Obviously, none of the Grail Knights died. The Prophetess didn't die, but I lost one of my Boshati. Man, it's not good. It's not good. But 3-3, it's a tied comeback, so we just sit there. So that takes us over here to bottom of turn 5, and nothing really crazy with the exception of lance formation bullshit, to be perfectly honest with you. Not that my opponent did anything wrong, it's Games Workshop rules, and every once in a while they kick me in the throat and it pisses me off. Lance formations, line of sight is drawn from the second row, not the first, because, lance formation is stupid anyway, and that's probably why they brought it back into the damn game. So they were able to see the Scorpion and wheel past the what's it called, the Skeleton Horse Archer, no problem, getting into corner to corner contact in the flank of the Scorpion. So god fucking damn you, GW. I love your game, but some of your rules are so goddamn terrible. It's like you're trying to piss me off. Mission fucking accomplished. Other than that, everything else pretty much stays put or is dead or is in combat. Speaking of combat, we go into it, and yeah, the Knights of the Realm were able to obliterate my Scorpion. I was able to put a wound onto the Damsel or Prophetess or whatever the fuck she was, but in the end, it's 7-2, I think, something like that. Yeah, my Boshati vaporize, and both units of Knights turn to look over to the left there. Fuck you, Games Workshop. I'm sorry. I know that's bitter. I know it's unjustified. I know it's the rule and all that stuff, but come on. Come on. If lance formation was any worse, it would be wonderful. Over here, he does a wound. He has a flank. He's got a banner. To my close order, he wins by 2. And I give ground. I lose a wound. I give ground. And I think he tries to restrain again and fails. Oh, that's not Games Workshop's fault, though. That's just the dice roller. What can you do? So that brings us to the top of turn 6. This is my last chance to do something, and I do a little bit. The Scorpion in the right side there, first I do my crumble checks, and as you can see, I lost a couple more Skeleton Archers. The Swarms and the Boshati are fine. The Skeleton Archers were actually fine. Bernice was fine, and the remaining Scorpion was fine. So that's awesome. I was really expecting to lose more from crumble checks. My Scorpion, speaking of the devil, charges that unit of bowmen. My opponent decides to flee, which was smart. Unfortunately, he fled 3 inches, and the Scorpion charged, as you can see, enough to catch them and run them down into paste. So I secured 50 points. That's outstanding. Bernice was able to bring back 5 of the Skeleton Horse Archers for a total of 6, and get Curse of Years off, and get Incantation of Desert Winds off. I don't know why I needed to do that. It's just force of habit. I guess it's a good habit to have. The Swarms charge back into the rear. I know they don't have a rear, but into the back of the Peg Knights, because it kind of worked before. And honestly, that's it for movement. This is desperate as hell. I mean, I tried to get magic off. I really did. And his Prophetess was just like, no, Bernice, you're not casting anything today. And she was like, yes, ma'am. So we go straight into combat, and it's brutal. I'm not able to do any wounds to his Peg Knights. I really wanted to. I mean, the effort was there, the urge was there, the desire was there, but the body was weak. He ended up getting 5 combat res in total. I have 1. So guess what happened? If you said skadoosh, I like the reference, and you'd be correct. The Ushapti and the Swarm die horribly. And his guys restrain and end up staying right there. And yeah, here's bottom of 6 after movement, and really the only thing that happens is his Grail Knights turn to look at Bernice, and his Peg Knights charge into my Archers, who couldn't stand to shoot. They were too close. Everything else just kind of stands still and starts chuckling. That's it for movement. My opponent doesn't want to risk any magic miscast, so we go straight into combat, and yeah, he gets 7 combat res to my 2. I was not able to do that final wound to one of them, which would have been hilarious, but he wins by 5. 5 random skeletons fall to the ground, and we give ground. He doesn't even bother following up because that's it. That's the end of the game. My opponent whooped my ass. I ended up getting 660 points out of him. He got 1,474 out of me for a grand total of kiss my ass. No, this is actually a really, really good game. The fight, oh man, just everything is just I could not get my spells off. Ah, I wanted to so bad, and his prophetess is such a bitch. But I'm excited to get into the recap, so let's get to it. Oh wow, yeah, this was a hard fought one. Like I didn't realize how bad I had lost until we totaled up the points in the end because it felt a lot closer than that. But the fight between Ida and the Duke was hilarious and really awesome. Like that was so cool to see that fight between two fucking juggernauts, and then for us to kill each other at the same time was really, really awesome. I loved everything about that. I have no regrets. Poor Bernice though was shut down all game by the prophetess. She just could not get any of her aggressive spells off, which is her bread and butter. If she can't get Unquiet Spirits off when she has it, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin wasn't charged up, she's mostly useless. And that's what happened this game. It's unfortunate. The Lance line of sight is some GW brand bullshit. Like, I don't know why they do stuff like that. It's not clever, it's not smart, it's not fun. But yeah, it makes full-grown men like me throw a huge baby tantrum. I'm well aware of the hissy fit that I'm throwing. Not one regret. Comment in the section, let me know I'm being a baby. You're not wrong. But damn it, either am I. Bretonnians, I'm finding, are a lot harder to fight than, elves, even with their dragons and their phoenixes and their pointy ears. Fighting the Brets, it's a whole different game, and I got to be so much more careful. Not seeing that flank charge into my Ushabti from the Peg Knights was brilliant positioning by my opponent. Not realizing that his lance formation was going to be able to see the flank of my Scorpion, although I didn't think the Scorpion was going to make it that far. But not seeing that, I mean, there's just so much I'm blind to, and it's so much more difficult with Bretonnians than it is with everything else. Oh, I've got to get better. That all being said, though, the Ushabti did really well this game. I mean, dealing with the Pegasus Knights pretty much the entire game in their flank with nothing coming to support them and surviving for as long as they did was incredible. And then the other unit getting mulched by the Grail Knights but holding them back. Honestly, the only reason that they finally lost is because the Scorpion came and helped out. I shouldn't have done that. I should have left it alone, but, hindsight's 2020. Really good game, though, and I'm definitely looking forward to the rematch because I need revenge. I mean, speaking of revenge, though, I did kill a considerable amount of Bretonnians and added to my pile. In characters, I got my first Duke, and it cost me Ida, but what a price. What a great fight. I'm thrilled that that's the first Duke I get to chalk up on the old board here. There was no Sergeant at Arms, thank God, because I would have surrendered the game immediately, and I didn't kill any of his other characters. In core, though, there were no Men at Arms or Grail Monks, but there was a bunch of Peasant Bowmen, 50 to be sure, and I killed 46 of them, bringing my total up to 91. I mean, I know peasants aren't really people and stuff like that, but killing them still feels right, and I'm still going to add them to the tally. It's like that respect thing. There were no Knights of the Realm on foot, but for the ones that were on mounted horseback, I was able to drop 4 of them with the help of the Prophetess, thank you ma'am, bringing my total up to 21. And then in special, 4 Pegasus Knights die, bringing my total up to 17, and that number can't get high enough. In rare, only 2 Grail Knights fell, bringing my total up to 6. And so while this type isn't going to be as impressive as others, I'm still very pleased to see my numbers going up. My Wood Elf numbers are still very impressive, probably because I run into them the most often, but I'm still very happy with it. And the unworthy Tomb Kings that were sent as a tithe are still there. My numbers in the Chaos Dwarves are still pretty decent as well. Well, my Orcs and Goblins numbers could really go up, but I don't have an Orc and Goblin opponent. If you'd like to fix that, reach out. And of course, the Demons and Warriors of Chaos numbers stay the same as well, because I haven't run into them in a long time. And though I've only seen the Dark Elves once, they were none on the table, even though they looked alike. And so all these numbers stay the same, but these are the ones I'm the most proud of. But that's going to do it for this one. Another battle report in the history books. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But as always, Thanks!